Friends, today we are going to discuss about the topic of chapter number 3. This has been already revised, but again we will do revision of the topic, that is gametogenesis. Before starting the gametogenesis, we will discuss basic two questions, right, of the previous topic, that is revision video R 3.2, right. So in this thing we discuss about the first one, explain giving reason why this epididymis wall gets shrink during the male when gets sexually aroused. So you already know, you are knowing that epididymis, we can say over here, we can write answer number 6. So first we will know the epididymis coiled structure. Epididymis is 6-meter long structure, highly coiled, right, coiled part. Now this stores the sperm. It stores immature sperms. Students, you are already knowing this immature sperms gets matured, means get ability to swim in this region. So you can also write an answer that epididymis is 6-meter long coiled tube which stores the immature sperm. Where sperms gets matured means they get ability to swim, right. Now during the contraction, during the sexual arousal, epididymis contract, epididymis contract so that sperm moves to vasa deferens. Okay, so this is the main reason. When it moves into the vasa deferens, further it goes to the it passes through the vasa deferens to ejaculatory duct to urethra. So our second question is, write a note and on transport and formation of the sperm. So you are already knowing formation of the sperm is referred as spermatogenesis. Here you will write the pathway of the entire formation. Okay, so you will write in this first seminiferous tubules, right, where the sperms are formed. Two, they move to ratty testis. That has been already explained to you in the previous video also. From ratty testis it moves to vas efferens, vas efferens to epididymis, right, epididymis to vas deferens. This has been discussed. Vas deferens to the urethra via ejaculatory duct to the urethral meatus, that is the opening which is at the tip of the penis. So these are the two answers of the question number 6 and question number 4. Hello students, in this video we are also going to see the next question, that is explain spermatogenesis. Okay, so when we discuss about this or spermatogenesis, we need to focus that it starts at puberty. The formation of the sperm starts at puberty. So we need to understand what is gametogenesis. Formation of sperm and ova is referred as gametogenesis. Now the question is explain spermatogenesis. That is, what is spermatogenesis? Formation of sperm from, that is, sperm is always haploid gamete, right? Male haploid gamete is referred as sperm from primary germ cells. This is referred as spermatogenesis. Now what you will explain, right? At the puberty, under the effect of gonadotropins, right, that is released by hypothalamus and further it is acting on pituitary, right. Gonadotropin releasing hormones which are released from hypothalamus, which stimulates the release of gonadotropins from pituitary, that is FSH and LH, right. under these effects, it helps in formation of sperms, right? So basically, let's say that inner lining or inner wall lining of seminiferous tubule of seminiferous tubule contains primary germ cells, right? So let's say this is primary germ cells, right? This undergoes mitotic division to form many spermatogonia, right? This undergoes repeated mitotic division. Remember students this, right? Okay. So this undergoes repeated mitotic division to form many spermatogonia, right? Now see, if I say primary germ cell itself, it is 2n and spermatogonia is also 2n diploid. Reason is it is undergoing mitotic cell division. Now out of this many spermatogonia, some of undergo increase in size, right, and forms primary spermatocyte. So see, primary spermatocyte is again 2n. Primary spermatocyte is again 2n because just it is increasing in its size. Now this undergoes meiosis 1. Okay students, so this is meiosis 1 and it forms two haploid because it is reductional division. This one is reductional division. Okay, so this will result in haploid secondary spermatocyte. Okay students, so this is secondary spermatocytes and these are haploid, right? So this is N, this is also N. Now this secondary spermatocyte, again there were two secondary spermatocyte, completes the meiosis 2, right, to form spermatids. These spermatids are again haploid. Reason is meiosis 2 is equational division, it is not going to reduce the number. So these are spermatids which are haploid, right? Now remember, the conversion of or the transformation of spermatids into sperm is referred as, this spermatid get transformed into sperms and this is called as spermiogenesis. It is referred as spermiogenesis. So this is the process. Now after this spermiogenesis, the sperm head gets embedded into the Sertoli cells, right? After this, sperm head get embedded into Sertoli cells, right? Sperm head when get embedded into Sertoli cells, they now leave the seminiferous tubules and that process is referred as spermiation. That process is referred as spermiation. Okay, so gametes are always haploid. Initially it started with the diploid and it resulted in, see, primary spermatocyte when underwent meiosis 1, it resulted in haploid cell. Further, sperm is also haploid. So this is about the spermatogenesis. Now we will discuss the role of hormones, that is also present in our question, right, in our 3.3 revision video, right? Revision assignment contains that question that explains the role of hormones. So basically, if I talk about the role of hormones, okay, role of hormones in case of spermatogenesis. Let's say you are familiar with the hypothalamic hormone. At puberty, the hypothalamic hormone GnRH, right, from hypothalamus, GnRH is released, gonadotropin releasing hormones. This stimulates anterior pituitary, stimulate anterior pituitary. You are familiar, right? Anterior pituitary releases 6 hormones, in which 2 are gonadotropins. To release pituitary to release FSH and LH. Okay, students. So LH stimulates Leydig cells. LH stimulates Leydig cells. Okay. Leydig cells are present in the testis. Okay. So LH stimulates Leydig cells. This Leydig cells further releases androgens like testosterone. Right? This androgen helps in or stimulates spermatogenesis. Right? So it stimulates spermatogenesis. Now, what is the role of FSH in male? So FSH acts on Sertoli cells. Okay? And this Sertoli cell stimulates or secrete factors which help in spermiogenesis. Okay, so this is the role of hormones. Hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormones which further stimulates the pituitary, right? FSH and LH. LH stimulates the Leydig cell to release androgen which helps in spermatogenesis, as well as FSH stimulates Sertoli cell which secrete factors which helps in spermiogenesis. Okay, students. Now let's see the structure of the sperm. Okay, we will understand the structure of sperm, that is having 1 mark questions as well as a detailed question. So when I talk about structure of sperm is divided into 3 parts, right? Head, neck and tail. So students, the middle body, for example, let's say head. Okay, this is a head part, this is a body, middle, neck, and this is the middle body. Okay, or middle piece, and further it extends into tail. Head part is having 2 things. This is head part contains haploid nucleus. Okay, head part is having haploid nucleus. This nucleus is surrounded by a cap-like structure referred as acrosome. Okay, so what is the role of acrosome? Acrosome, nucleus of the sperm is surrounded by a cap-like structure which is referred as acrosome. Now acrosome is secreting certain enzymes which helps in the entry of sperm into the egg, right, or ovum. So remember this, it secretes hyaluronidase enzymes which helps in entry of the sperm. Now when we talk about the middle piece, right, middle piece contains numerous mitochondria which provides the energy for the efficient functioning of the sperm, while the tail part is helping in motility, right? Okay, Now, whenever the sperm is formed, out of that 60% of the sperm should have normal structure and shape, right? And 40% of the sperm should have vigorous motility. So this is all about the structure of the sperm. Okay, students. Now we will discuss about the oogenesis. Okay. The last part of this topic is oogenesis. Students, you are familiar with the oogenesis. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the oogenesis is the process of formation of ova, right, in the female. So, when we talk about this process of formation of the ova, this is going to occur in the female, right? So, what happens during that formation? Okay, oogenesis is differing from spermatogenesis as it starts from the embryonic development, right? What happens in this primary germ cells? Okay, primary germ cells during the embryonic development undergoes division to form numerous oogonia. Okay, this no more oogonia is added after the birth. That means this entire thing is occurring at the embryonic stage of the life. No more oogonia will be added after the birth. Now students, see oogonia. Some of the oogonia, right? This oogonia further, let's say this is the oogonia, right? This oogonia further transforms into, it increases in size and becomes a primary oocyte, right? This primary oocyte is also diploid, right? 2n. This is diploid. Now this process, this further starts the meiosis 1, but it gets arrested at the peculiar period of the time, that is prophase 1. It gets arrested at prophase 1. So primary oocyte initiate the division, but it gets arrested at prophase 1, that we have already discussed in the previous video. So when it gets arrested at prophase 1, that will be completed at the puberty. Okay, meiosis 1 will be completed at the puberty. So what happens? Primary oocyte, right, it will be surrounded by numerous, right, this forms primary oocyte, and this oocyte, for let's say this is an oocyte, it will be surrounded by numerous granulosa cells, and this is called as primary follicle. Okay students, this primary follicle further gets surrounded by more number of cells. So this is primary oocyte, again more cells will be getting arranged. Okay, and there will be formation of theca, a new layer, and this is called as secondary follicle. See, you have to remember this. This is secondary follicle. Initially, there are arrangement of some granulosa cells. Then further more granulosa cells are added, and there is a layer of a theca. Now this theca differentiate into two, which gets converted into tertiary follicle. Tertiary follicle contains a cavity, fluid filled cavity called as antrum. Okay, so this is an layer of follicles, right? There is an characterized cavity. Okay, and further more cell layers, outer theca, inner theca, like this they gets arranged. This tertiary follicle. At this stage, this primary oocyte completes the division into two, right? Further tertiary follicle gets divided, further converts into Graafian follicle, that is the mature follicle, and primary oocyte completes the division into unequal way. One large, that is secondary oocyte, which retains the bulk of cytoplasm, while one polar body. Both will be haploid in nature as it undergoes meiosis 1. Getting it, students? This is the same one, but this is unequal division, one large cell and one small cell. This secondary oocyte, if the sperm penetrates, then and then only this will continue the meiosis 2. If sperm is not there, this simply degenerates. If sperm fertilize, this will again divide into a haploid polar body, right? That is N and O, right? That is also N. So this is the completion of the today's video, that is revision of the chapter number 3, 3.3. Thank you.